Hi everybody, I'm Bryan Mudd, a fan of South Plains politics. Here's your talking points for this week. So is Lubbock really about to be shut down again because of a rise in coronavirus cases? Just take a deep breath, but put a mask on first. And 6 feet apart while you stand in line to early vote, please. Plenty of folks are, but if you need to vote by mail, know the deadline's coming.
From the studios of KMAC Television in Lubbock, your local election headquarters. This is Talking Points with Bryan Mudd.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Also this week, good trouble. We've been asking this question in different ways relating to the concept of Lubbock being a sanctuary city for the unborn, effectively banning abortions here. Would you pay someone to break the law for you if you thought it was a law morally worth breaking? And would it matter if the money used to pay for your legal defense was your tax money? Well, the people behind bringing that proposed ordinance to the Lubbock City Council are smart people. They know it could be breaking the law. Now, supporters have mentioned that there may be loopholes through Senate Bill 22, which passed last session and keeps cities from partnering with abortion providers. In fact, an amendment says that part of the law may not be construed to restrict a municipality or county from prohibiting abortions. But this certainly wouldn't stop the lawsuits, and that's, of course, where the money goes. And we may talk about the actual political motivations of this proposed ordinance at some point. But regardless, it seems the idea of abortions potentially returning to Lubbock may be worth a little law breaking to a lot of people, but maybe not worth it to those in charge of the money. And that's why the council asked for legal advice on this, and they got that advice this week, and KMAC's Matthew Stell has more.
It's not something we would want to do in every city, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes, and that's what we'll do.
Well, according to lawyers for the city of Lubbock, that won't be happening anytime soon. Olson & Olson, the Houston-based law firm hired by City Council, says the sanctuary city for the unborn ordinance has some major legal issues. First off, attorneys argue if the ordinance was passed, it would automatically be null and void because the Texas Constitution prohibits the city from adopting an ordinance that is inconsistent with Texas state law. Secondly, they say the sanctuary city ordinance, quote, creates offenses for some actions that are in fact permitted by the state. State Senator Charles Perry, who's led the sanctuary city movement, says that's not true.
Texas statute still has on the books, it's in a separate category for laws that are kind of hanging out there in the balance, so to speak, but it does define abortion as murder.
Olson & Olson then goes on to say, quote, the ordinance conflicts with Texas law because the state regulates abortions, including who may perform them, where they can happen, and when they could be done. So in that case, the ordinance is inconsistent with state regulations.
Clearly, the council doesn't understand, nor have they wanted to spend the time to understand what the ordinance is doing and how it is written within the confines of existing federal and state law. It's clear that they don't want to deal with this issue.
And for now, not one Lubbock City Council member has requested the ordinance be on an upcoming agenda.
Said that in Lubbock, Texas, this issue has garnered so much opposition by the elected officials of a community that is known one of the most conservative cities in the country. And two, the joke is there's a church on every corner.
All right, now District 84 Representative John Furlow's here to talk about the final few days of the latest re-election campaign and some more, we hope. Good to see you.
Well, likewise, good to see you, Bryan.
Yeah, you're a veteran at this point of elections and re-elections, but not in a pandemic. Talk about how all this has sort of changed your campaigning over these last few months.
It's changed it substantially. You know, there was a lot of going out, greeting people, meeting people. You know, that people don't want to have people knocking on their door and coming and visiting them. And of course, as you get to different folks that have health issues, even more so. One of the other things is a lot of times we have a lot of different events like this association will get together, or this co-op, or items like that, you know, groups like that. There's not very much of that going on. It's recently just started again. And so it makes it pretty difficult to get into groups like that.
Sure.
So it's more just reaching out, talking to people. I think that as far as I'm concerned, having done this for a while, been in the office of state representative, people want to know what to expect from me. They know where I'm going to be on the big issues, and where I'm at on their issues. And oftentimes I've talked to them. You know, we've had discussions if it's important to them. And so I think there's a lot of things that are built up there over time. They know what to expect.
You know, usually at this time we're sitting here and we're talking about the interim charges that you would get after the last session. Did that go away with COVID, or were you able to get any work done with that?
It just sort of, it came out, they were issued, there was discussion, we never had meetings. Then issues were talked about, different people submitted papers, worked on them, came up with ideas, we looked at them, and then, you know, reports are coming out.
And the next session, you're going to be facing the likelihood of a lot of funding challenges because of the economic situation here. I know you're in the middle of a campaign, but have you thought about ways you're going to maybe have to deal with some of those budget shortfalls? Is the rainy day fund an option?
Sure, we are. You know, we are blessed in Texas to have a rainy day fund in the first place, and you know, it is raining. We saw it raining last session when Harvey did all the destruction it did. We're actually going to start, at the start of this last session, we were about $10.1 billion into the fund. We are going, it's projected, you know, that we will have about $3.6 billion added, spend 4.4, roughly going to be around $8.5 billion left. Now, there's certain things that could affect that spending a little bit more in certain areas, some clawbacks, things like that, but roughly about $8.5 billion that we'll spend. We'll still have the healthcare expenses that seem to just keep creeping on up every year. We have that. You know, there's a lot of federal money out there. We're looking at that, how to deal with that, the unemployment claims. So there's just a lot of, as you said, this pandemic is instituting a lot of different things that we haven't seen.
Such a tangled web, too, to try to work through. With all that in mind, though, do you have goals for the next session if you get there? I mean, bills, projects you'd like to see pushed through?
Well, we do, of course, but I think a lot of it, as you mentioned, is going to be the budget. Budget's going to be number one. We're roughly $4.5 billion shy of where we planned on being, according to Comptroller Hager's estimate in July. So we're going to look at that. You know, the Appropriations Committee on the House side is looking at what it is. We're going to have a smaller budget this time than we did last time. It was the largest budget we've ever had. Texas was over $250 billion. And, you know, that's what the state was spending, and we, unlike the federal government, have to balance our budget. We, as you do, you know, in the Mudd household, you have to budget your balance, or your budget, balance your budget, and so we as a state also have to do that. The federal government doesn't have to do that, and so we have to make sure that works. And the one bill we have to pass during session is the budget bill.
Let's talk about the campaign just a little bit here. You know, your opponent has criticized you a little bit in this campaign for not doing enough for constituents in East and North Lubbock as maybe you could have. What efforts have you made for those folks in your years in office here?
Well, I think the thing is I like to talk about what I have done, what I have been doing. One of the big shining stars is Dunbar Elementary. You know, it went through, it had the rating that it did, that the state had the option of taking it over, doing a lot of different things. We went down and we fought and worked with fellow legislators to make sure that that stayed open. So we kept Dunbar open. You know, that's a huge item. The road work that we have done, you know, there's a lot of things that we have done, you know, throughout the whole district. And matter of fact, when I look at District 84, which is the district I represent, and I look outside of that area because Lubbock is such a kind of contiguous area that we all, you know, try to work together, get things done, and do what we can, and we have to get together. So it's, you know, there is no treating one area different. And matter of fact, oftentimes I help people that aren't even in the district that are around here. People from the smaller towns will call me because they know what to expect. They know where I'm at on issues.
Good luck in the election.
Well, thank you.
John Frulo, District 84 representative. Talk to you soon, and hopefully
right across the street.
Yeah, exactly. You're over here by the station, and we'll get you taken care of here on campaign and night and everything else. Good to see you.
Thank you, Ryan.
And coming up, part one of the council's final decision on those impact fees we've been talking about. And a lot of people with a lot of money have been taking notice of the Democratic challenger in the Texas Senate race. But Republican John Cornyn talks about